Death Knight and Demon Hunter as well, right? It feels like they're teasing those with these two. There you go. Entrance. And here is some in-game footage going from the Stormwind Harbor into Northwind. This zone is just so gorgeous.
Of our kingdom, and keep watch over the darkness that lingers on our northern border. Sadly, the serene peace.
So here are the changes they're going with. They're doing a flat damage reduction in PvP. And here we have some in-game footage of Baelor. Big old snakefish. Who do we have here? Drakthul.
An orc. I smell the stench of demons about him.
Rest easy, stranger. This old wanderer has no quarrel with you or your kin. I am Drakthul, once a powerful warrior.
I had fled the darkness before, out of shame, out of guilt, out of disgust. My old self reveled in the depravity of Gul'dan's machinations, the shadows we...
Grim Reaches, hanging on the eastern cliffs of the Eastern Kingdoms. Grim Reaches has witnessed many conflicts between the wild... Alright, so WoW is releasing a new patch called Scars of the Past, and along with this, they're also releasing a new server, RP-PvE server. If you haven't seen already, I suggest you take a look at my previous video where I covered what's happening with the WoW fresh server that's coming right around the corner. But in this video, we'll be taking a look at the patch notes and breaking it all down for you guys. So in this upcoming patch releasing on the 15th of August, so in less than 14 days from recording this, this patch brings along with it a ton of new areas, classic dungeon extensions, new items, extensions on raids, new PvP system, or an add-on to the PvP system we'll be getting, graded 2v2 and 3v3 arena, as well as a lot of PvP improvements, some UI stuff for finding groups, and of course brand new locations. They say we are excited to finally share the full changelog for patch 1.18 Scars of the Past. You've got 3 brand new zones to explore: Grim Reaches, Northwind, and the haunted island of Baelor. 2 fresh dungeons are coming: Stormwrought Ruins and Dragonmaw Retreat, plus some big updates to old favorites like Molten Core. There's a new quest, revamped zones, new items, and much, much more. And this is the Grim Reaches right beside Lokmadan. And here are some screenshots. I wonder if there's going to be some Twilight Highlands themed, or if it's just dwarfs versus orcs. But it looks very cool. Building some new buildings we've never seen before. And I've actually gotten a hold of some in-game footage for you guys' viewing pleasure. So let's take a look at the Grim Reaches. Alright guys, there are 2 ways you can get into Grim Reaches. You can do it through wetlands or through Lokmadan. Lokmadan, it's up here. From the wetlands, I'll show you guys. Through here. All the way up here. And then turn to the left through this gate. But before we go any further, I actually want to show you guys they've also done a lot of work on Grim Battle. Entire entrance to the instance. A lot has been made here. There you go. Entrance. Let's explore Grim Reaches. Grim Reaches, hanging on the eastern cliffs of the eastern kingdoms. Grim Reaches has witnessed many conflicts between the Wildhammer dwarves of Donkitas and the Dragonmaw orcs. Though this strife stretches over decades, many things have changed as the years went by. The dwarves of the Reaches have forgotten of their Wildhammer lineage. Dwarven ruins of ages past litter the cliffs, serving as camps for the Dragonmaw that yet remain in these lands, and hints of corruption has started to show itself, coalescing in the southern end of these lands in a dark swamp named the Grim Hollows. Yes, so as you can see, a huge war-torn zone. Lots to explore here. And next up we got Northwind with the city Ambershire, which is also the name of the new server that's coming. This is right above Stormwind. So down here we have Stormwind. You can see the harbor over here. And there seems to be a gate here that you go through and you get into Northwind here.
Get on with it.
Today we shall have the representative from Quel'Thalas joust against the one and only Black
Distractions. That's all that seems to keep them content.
My lord,
Games, tournaments, and amber-glazed donuts.
the serene lands of Northwind are a beautiful place, where falling autumn leaves grace the wide stretches of effervescent plains, like falling stars on a midnight sky. It is within these lands that we create the bountiful, beloved goods of our kingdom, and keep watch over the darkness that lingers on our northern border. Sadly, the serene peace of our people has come to an end. Insurmountable problems pile upon us day by day. Our lands are now besieged on all sides by the voracious and bloodthirsty Blackrock orcs. Even now, the clatter of axes on shields reverberates throughout the kingdom as they
Just gotta say, the attention to detail that Third WoW has is just immaculate. There's no, storytelling, and everything is just so well put together.
pour through our broken borders. Those vile, dark iron dwarves skulk within the shadows, greedily grasping for the bounties of our kingdom that they have no right to. We have been abandoned. The king, safe within his castle, sees no urgency, nor will his soldiers disobey his command to guard him, and him alone. Northwind has reached its precipice. My lord, we must call out to any who could help us. If we wish to save our land, we need brave adventurers with the heart and will of champions.
Send word throughout the realm for help from any who might provide it. Let them know Northwind calls for aid. And pray that someone finally answers us.
You can tell that there's a lot of effort put into these videos. And overall, just the content they're making. It just looks really great. Even on this old client. And once they get their Unreal Engine 5 client thing going, that's gonna generate a ton of hype for people to go visit Turtle Island. And here is some in-game footage going from the Stormwind Harbor into Northwind. This zone is just so gorgeous. I think, in my personal opinion, this is one of the zones that can actually rival Elven Forest in just the ambience and feel and overall just how beautiful this zone is. And just look at how big this zone is. It's a huge, beautiful zone. So much going on here. I turned up the view distance to crank it up as much as it absolutely could. So that's why you can see so much. But yeah. Just a stunning zone. I can't wait to try leveling in this zone. But yeah, just so much going on here, so much attention to detail. You can really see that they put a lot of effort into this one. And here we got Baelor, forgotten mythical island. Off the western shore of Elwyn and Westfall is an accursed place among the people of Stormwind, burdened by a harrowed past. It was once a blooming trade port for the kingdom, before falling into the hands of the old horde during the First War, held within the tight grip of Gul'dan's Shadow Council all throughout the Second War. Its shores now only beacon death as its cliffs and breaking waves call out to the restless souls beneath its surface. That's one other thing I really gotta say, that the Third WoW team are really closely in tune with the Warcraft lore, especially from the early RTS games, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, and what they're bringing into the game, what they're taking inspiration from when they create new content to the game, is especially these RTS, the old RTS games, which I think one of the reasons why World of Warcraft grew to the extent that it did was because of these great RTS games and the just immense and deep lore and history that was behind these games. Everyone wanted to see what's happening to our world Azeroth, what was happening to the Death Knight Arthurs, or Lich King Arthurs, what would happen to Illidan. So expanding on all of this in a Classic Plus setting and not going the route that Blizzard did with the lore and how they butchered all of that, but expanding on it like Third WoW is really nice to see. And them caring about it, most of all. You can disagree with a lot of things. You can disagree with systems and the client and all of that. But the attention to detail and the lore accuracy that Third WoW brings is that's the best. And then I got the new dungeon, screenshot or a picture here, art picture, Stormwrought Ruins, I think. And let's take a look at the trailer here.
Baelor, a name I have almost forgotten. I have lingered for far too long. Ever since the orcs first invaded and brought devastation to this land. It was them that stole my life. Although that was many years ago, the horrors of that war still scar the land. Desolate, abandoned, once filled with ships and life, now left to rot. I am surrounded by those that brought my end, left to wander aimlessly. But they do not rule this place, nor do I. Something evil lies deep below, brought here by the Shadow Council. I can feel it, binding my soul to this accursed place. If I am ever to be free, outsiders with brave hearts and strong souls must uncover the secrets buried deep below, beneath the heart of Stormwrought Castle.
Awesome. This one looks really cool. I can't wait to jump into this one. And if it's anything like Quel'Thalas, it'll be good. And here we have some in-game footage of Baelor. Little horde camp here. Stormwrought ruins. Looking really cool. So many new assets. Maybe this is an exit of the instance. And let's check out these islands as well. We've got some of these smaller islands out here. This could probably be an alliance camp, base camp. And you see Stormwind here in the background. And this is Westfall. So you can actually probably swim from Westfall to Baelor. A lot of shipwrecks here. Hidden treasure. Maybe. Who knows? What can be found in the ships? Imagine if that was alive. Big old snakefish thing. They should probably have one of those swimming around the island. That's just as a give some interesting depth to the game. Having maybe a boss or a world boss swimming around like that. If you venture too far out or go below, swimming around looking for treasure, you might stumble into this guy. What is this? One of those Pandaren turtles. Bunch of murlocs. Who do we have here? Drakthul. Is that the guy from? That's the guy from Warcraft 3, right?
An orc. I smell the stench of demons about him.
Rest easy, stranger. This old wanderer has no quarrel with you or your kin. I am Drakthul, once a powerful warlock of the Stormreaver clan. Now, I am the last of my kind.
What are you doing here?
Your pardon, lady, but I am hunted by restless ghosts. They've chased me day and night for nearly 20 years. Perhaps if you silence them for me, I will tell you my tale.
I'll consider it. The dead will trouble you no more, old orc.
Thank you, stranger. Now, hear my tale. Nearly 20 years ago, the great warlock Gul'dan raised these islands from the deeps. He sought to unearth an ancient vault that held the remains of the Dark Titan.
Sargeras. You speak of the Legion's creator.
The same. After Sargeras' defeat ages ago, his remains were locked away in an undersea tomb. Gul'dan believed that opening the tomb would grant him the Dark Titan's power. For his pride, he and the rest of our clan were torn to shreds by crazed demons. I have wandered these isles ever since, haunted by the ghosts of my slaughtered comrades.
Your tale is as intriguing as it is dire, Drakthul. It's a shame your ghosts lie silent. You deserve far worse than their company for what you set loose in this place.
Let's see what he has to say.
What brings you to Coughing Hold? I had fled the darkness before, out of shame, out of guilt, out of disgust. My old self reveled in the depravity of Gul'dan's machinations. The shadows we worshipped were alluring and powerful. After that chance encounter with the Warden, I made a choice. Perish by my own anguish and be devoured by the abyssal maw, or face my past and ensure I will not be shackled by its crippling grasp. Speak, stranger. Will you assist me in becoming the last of the Storm Reaver?
That's very interesting. I wonder how he got here, because he was originally on the Broken Isles, right? So maybe he's on a turtle, so he's probably used the turtle to travel here, and then once the turtle came to the shores, it died for some reason. And because it's underneath water, it decomposes fast. Could be an explanation. Well, I'll leave that for you guys to
Tread carefully
find
near the
out
mountain.
what he offers. And now moving on to the next one, Dragonmaw Retreat. This is just looks really heavily inspired from Lord of the Rings stuff. It looks really, really cool. I can't wait to dive into this dungeon. And I know some people are probably thinking, "What? Won't you be playing on Project Epoch?" Yes, of course, I'll be playing on Project. But that doesn't mean that I'll stop playing on Dragonmaw. And we'll have to see what happens with Project Epoch. And I might even check out Warcraft Reborn from the Ascension team. But I haven't looked into the server yet. We'll do that together sometime in very soon, because I think it's probably also launching within the next few months. But let's check out this dungeon, Dragonmaw Retreat.
We have been beaten, battered, killed. Our birthright stolen from our grasp, fragmented, lost. But destroyed it is not, for we have reclaimed it from their clutches, and now it is ours once again. Our power has been reclaimed, and with it, our potential shall be unleashed. The Dragonmaw clan shall rise once again to destroy any who oppose us. So, let them see our strength. Let them bask in our might. For we shall not be destroyed, not by any who dare to challenge us. I swear this to you as Zuluhead, chieftain of the Dragonmaw clan. We shall be victorious!
This one really looks awesome as well. I can't wait to dive into this one. I can actually kind of hope that we'll be getting a heroic version of this of some sort, so that you can experience these dungeons as level 60 as well. I'm really getting those Lord of the Rings running through Moria vibes from these images and stuff. And then they're expanding a bunch of already known dungeons. I'll add some timestamps if you want to watch these videos on your own. But before we continue, let's have a look at these classic dungeon extensions. In this patch, we've continued expanding classic WoW dungeons by adding new areas and boss encounters. Our goal is to offer fresh challenges while preserving the core dungeon experience. Here's what's new. Yeah, that's again one of those great things. They are taking a look at the old stuff as well and making sure that keep your old stuff relevant throughout all the new additions they're making to the game. They're not forgetting what was already made. Like keeping these old dungeons and Molten core raids, like these old raids relevant throughout the entire game. I think they're also working on an Onyxia hard mode as well. So that's really nice to see. Razorfang Crawl, Black Fathom Deep, Elun's Temple or Temple of Elun. And so Faraki tombs, reports suggest that the Sand Fury are unearthing one of the ancient underground tombs after the collapse of their passage. What secrets might be hidden within? It's gotta be especially cool for all those people leveling up on the new Ambershire fresh server that they're making. You're gonna experience so much new content, so much added content that's relevant to your level. And by the looks of it, it seems like they'll also be updating some zones as well. So let's check out these images. This looks like Stone Talon Mountains or something. Probably Tanaris, somewhere up in the hills or something. San Moreau. So very cool to see them expand on these areas. This one looks like it's an Ashen Vale. Did I mention this? The new 2v2 arena, Sunstrider Court, and they're really leaning into the PvP stuff with the new rated arena system. You can go 2v2, 3v3. And is this, what is this, 5v5? This gotta be 2v2, this is 3v3, and then probably 5v5 then, maybe? Gather your allies, sharpen your blades, and prepare your spells because rated arena is calling. Whether you're a seasoned gladiator or just stepping into the competitive scene, now is the perfect time to form your team and carve your name into Azeroth's PvP legacy. Join forces with friends and rise through ranks together as you face off against the finest and fiercest opponents. This isn't just a fight, it's your chance to show the world what you're really made of. Yada, yada, yada. Assemble your team, queue up, and let the arena decide your fate. Rated Arena will come with new exclusive rewards. Interesting. PvP leveling. That's really intriguing. Azeroth's most bloodthirsty adventurers can now gain experience by participating in Battlegrounds. Do be careful to disable experience gain manually if you're tweaking or uninterested in the bonus experience. Taking a page out of the Epoch changes that are coming with Project Epoch now, also Third WoW are leaning into this, getting many different or other different areas to gain experience from, which I think is great. You should get experience from doing your professions. You should do not much, but just a little bit, and you should get something for doing PvP and something for doing your regular quests, grinding in dungeons and stuff like that. I think the more options you have as a player, the merrier, the better. And then we'll be getting some PvP balance tweaks, which is sorely needed for Turtle WoW. It's really become a one-shot meta, something akin to what it was in Season of Discovery, but to a lesser extent, of course. As described here, the 1.18 and 1.18.1, we'll see some major PvP changes alongside the changes listed in the post above. There will be a few other tweaks that we will share with you at a later date. We'll come back to this, but before we do dive into this here, we'll continue reading the rest of this. So Molten Core extension, new boss, this crocodile thing. Really got some epic art. Like if only the game looked like. Got the hunter up here taking aim right at the eye. That's a huge monstrosity. They got the boomkin here. They really got some epic art here on Turtle. Not looking as epic with in-game graphics. Just wait until the Unreal Engine client comes. Some new transport routes. Class balance update, list of changes. We'll also check out that one probably in another video. And a bunch of itemization changes. Look at all of these. Ton of items, added items. I think they said over 600 new items have been added and a bunch of changes. Some new icons and stuff. And some general changes. And now elemental earth can be found in all thorium veins. And they also changed some access to dungeons and open world areas. So now they say they function like Sargeras and crypts, and this magical sealed door in the Lapidus Isles now function as normal doors, just locked, so a rogue can actually lockpick it and get inside, which is nice. They're not forgetting rogues and these class-specific traits. I just kind of wish other classes would have some class-specific traits like the rogue has with lockpicking. That's a very niche, very cool little thing. If only, I don't know, tracking for hunters or something would open up for some open world or dungeon-like abilities, help with specific stuff that's not only raid related. That's really part of the RP or RPG element in World of Warcraft. So that's nice. And they also got this rendered mounts in the starting zones have been reworked. They now grant 40% movement speed for 5 minutes at the cost of 1 silver. So again, these were already implemented. There were these mounts that you could rent, but they wouldn't really provide much movement speed above the regular walking or running speed. But I think because they saw here what they did on, or what they've done on Project Epoch with the carts you can jump onto, they're kind of leaning into this also, I think, a little bit with the increased movement speed. So now you rent one mount for 5 minutes, and then you get the 40% movement speed for the period of time, which is really, really nice, especially in those really early levels. So yeah, taking some inspiration from each other. It's good. And with all the class changes that are coming, they have to, of course, increase health and difficulty of dungeons and raids and open world mobs. It seems like they're doing this as well. And they seem to have changed some quest related stuff. You can now get a raptor, and the winter saber training reputation thing has been increased, so you can easier get a winter saber. And they are removing some bloat from the starter zones, it seems. And they've also removed the Elven Forest and Durator, Griffin, and Vyron, as this design is not used in other zones. I don't know. I think that's sad to see. This was something you could complete a quest and feed either a Griffin if you were in Elven Forest, or a Vyron if you were in Razor Hill, and then you would mount it. You'd actually be able to fly for, I think it's 30 seconds. So you could get all the way from Razor Hill to Orgrimmar, and you could get from Goldshire to Stormwind, and actually quite a little bit further, which I think was quite neat. But I can see now that they're adding the mounts instead. They probably feel like this is kind of redundant. There are also some things about it, because, the old world, the vanilla world, isn't really designed to be seen from above. So you could clip through parts of the game. You could also get behind Stormwind and stuff like that through the use of this. So I can see why, for immersion reasons, they probably want to trade this with the mounts you can rent now. They've added a few early level quests in Elven Forest particularly around the Tower of Azora. Interesting. And then we get to a new great feature on Turtle WoW. They have the looking for turtles or looking for group feature, which in my opinion wasn't that great, because it would just create group for you. It's great when leveling. It's okay when leveling, because it'll just create the group for you, but you really have nothing to say in that matter. But now it seems like they're expanding this feature. So now there's an added browse tab feature, so you can create and sign up for custom groups, also open world quests and stuff like this. They seem to have added some visual timers, dungeon ready, and roll check pop-ups. So it seems like they still have the previous stuff, but now added some extra functionality, which is nice to see. And then it seems there's a bunch of user interface improvements one that caught my attention is this added a second mana bar for druids displaying current and max mana while in non-mana form. So now you're in bear form or you're in tiger or cat form, and you can still actually see how much mana you have. And here's an example of that with the mana bar below. And it seems like hunters are also getting their aspects on the stance bar. We got some bunch of models and textures and stuff. Player models and emotes and several shop skins received visual updates. Come on, Turtle WoW, just give us some new classes. We want the Death Knight and Demon Hunter as well, right? It feels like they're teasing those with these two. That's a huge, huge update that's coming. Oh, and as promised, before we end this, I wanted to go over the PvP balance tweaks. And for those who don't already know, Turtle WoW decided to not introduce PvP specific stats, which I'm really happy for. I made an entire video right here on why I think that's a really, really bad idea. So I'll probably link this one in the description below as well for you guys to check out, and I'll probably put it on the end screen here as well. Once we're done with this video, you should definitely check it out if you want to know my exact reasoning as to why I think PvP specific stats like resilience or versatility or whatever you can think of is bad for a game like this, or bad for any Classic Plus for that matter. So here are the changes they're going with. They're doing a flat damage reduction in PvP. So whenever you enter a battleground or arena, you will receive a universal buff/debuff that's going to reduce incoming physical damage by a percentage, incoming magical damage, healing, and incoming shields, which I'm not sure what this is, but I think it's probably, priest shields and mage shields and stuff. And here are some of the changes we already went over that's coming with the 1.18, the new arena, 2v2 arena, and rated arena teams. There's also now a stacking debuff to anyone holding the flag for an extended period of time in Wars and Gold. So probably going to help with reducing the time that it takes for some of these matches to end. I don't know if this is the correct solution. I'd maybe just put a time cap on the game, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour. And whoever has the most flags within that, once the match ends, are the winners. But this is another way of doing it, of course. We'll see how it plays out. And they're addressing safe spotting. Players who are standing in safe spots, or spots that we deem safe spots, will now receive a damage over time debuff that will last as long as they are in such possession. These possessions will be continuously updated by the team. So it's an easy way of letting players know. I think I really like this one because you're letting players know, oops, you're safe spotting right now. You should not do this. If you accidentally make it to a safe spot, well, you get this debuff, and probably when you hover over it, you'll see why you're getting it, hopefully. In any case, you won't be safe spotting for long. So I think this is a good solution to that. And there are a few follow-up changes, broadening the PvP appeal. They are reworking rewards and gear progression so that PvP will be a truly viable gearing path. And that's coming in the 1.18.1, which is the 17th of August 17th. And then they are partially also reworking the honor system. So they're reducing the brutal race against the clock at high PvP ranks, making it easier maybe to get the ranks, or different probably. They're probably going to have seasons, just like Epoch, but we'll have to see. And they have several open world PvP events that are coming. Well, that's great. And a brand new Battleground. Like, this is a really, really big patch, this one. And here they talk a little bit about why the universal debuff instead of PvP specific stats. And with their words, the words of the developers, when looking at what could be done to extend PvP battles and combat and reduce some of the volatile burst that exists, now we've opted to go for a more general debuff rather than having PvP specific gear that does the same through set bonuses or adding on more of a resilience like stat. Our main reason for this is that once we start reworking the gear progression for PvP, we want to make sure we can stat this new gear somewhat similarly to the current PvE tiers, with a few more minor benefits to PvP. This avoids forcefully splitting up two communities based on the gameplay they prefer, which is one of the things I addressed in my video linked below. We feel that if a player who has geared mainly through PvP progression wants to dabble in PvE rating, they should be able to with the gear they achieved in PvP without starting back to zero with stats that are mainly useless, and vice versa for PvE to PvP, which I really agree with. So I think this is a great change in my opinion. I wish this would be the thing that Project Epoch does as well. I kind of despise PvP specific stats because I think it really just breaks the game up in two. And for someone like me, I've talked about this before, I want to do both. I want to do PvE and PvP, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to farm two different sets of gear. So if you're telling me that I can only use PvP gear in PvP, or that's the clearly best option, then I'm just going to do PvP and get the PvP gear. I won't be bothered to see all the new dungeons and raid all these new raids and experience all of this, because what's the incentive? I won't be able to use that new gear. So therefore, I think this is a great change. All right, guys, I think this was all. We went over all the changes, but if you want to go into this yourselves or check out all the videos, I've linked this site in the description below, so you can check it out on your own. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next up, we'll check out all the class changes that's coming to Turtle WoW on the next patch. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.